Hey guys, well, welcome to day 4 of boot camp. My name is, of course, Altena, and you know that. I'm better known as your drill sergeant. So today, let's get back down to what we're doing with today. We've already talked about, we talked about what induction means on the first day, what the rules of induction are, what foods are allowed. Second day, we dealt with exercise, another non-negotiable thing, and then finally we hit upon the water weight. Again, remember, all these are targets. These are with the exception of the must-do, which is the Atkins induction legal foods. I will not accept, failure in that regards. The other two, the exercise and waters, are targets to hit. Now, you're supposed to be striving for that. You don't necessarily, if you don't hit your goal each and every day, guess what? It's a journey. You're working towards it. Not every day is going to be perfect. So I heard, I can't drink 140 ounces. You know what? You don't have to drink 140 ounces your very next day of hearing the message. You're supposed to be working towards that. And again, like when I started, it was 64 ounces, your base, plus 8 ounces for every 25 pounds I had to lose, which was another 200 pounds. 200 divided by 25 was 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So 64 plus 64 was 128 ounces. Now that was one of those super heavy weights I had to lose 200 pounds. So not every day did I hit 128 ounces per day, but every day I tried to come as close as I could. So that said, let's go on to day 4, or let's just do a brief recap of what I've also seen day 3. We had an awesome challenge going out between Trish and our Mad We Fit singer. Awesome challenge. Hula for you too. You guys are doing exactly what you should be doing. I'm very proud of you guys. Day 4. I've read about this in a number of your introduction videos. We asked why you got off the plan in the past. What happened? And some of you have said, well, things happened. I lost my job. I got depressed. I spent time on the couch. I ate ice cream. This challenge has to do with more confronting those things that happened in the past and how we're going to handle them in the first. How to plan for them this time and how we're going to handle them in the future. First things, recognize your trigger foods and what flavors are important to you in dealing with your lifetime of food. What are some of your trigger foods? What foods have caused you to get off plan in the past? Some of you have said chocolate. Some of you have said ice cream. One of the things we need to do is figure out how to handle those trigger foods. What are some of those game plans? Maybe you need to find a new comfort food in year 2009 for those in the low carb world for those old past trigger food. Chocolate. For instance, look at my low-carb chocolate bark recipe. You know what? It's even induction legal if you leave the nuts out. So just because you're on induction doesn't mean your old past trigger foods necessarily need to be eliminated completely. You just need to convert them to something you can handle, something that is within your plan. Your second thing, what are some of your trigger people, places, or things? Not always is it going to be a food that's a trigger food. Birthday cake may be the first one, but maybe it's your friends that happen to be trigger people. Maybe they encourage you to do the wrong things. Maybe it's lunchtime and going out for lunch with your friends that is going to be the toughest part that's going to be to trigger you to hop off the plan. Maybe it's family situations. We all know Thanksgiving and Christmas come around each year, and how much family says, well, just one bite's not going to hurt you. What are your trigger foods? Let's start planning for those. Behaviors are learned at a young age. Foods is often used for comforts, happiness, sadness, and loneliness, and special occasions. How do you use food? Have you ever used food as a comfort food? Or is it a very utilitarian thing? Explain how food has been used in your past and how you might look to something else this time to substitute for that food. In the past I've been bored, and using food as kind of a way for entertainment is certainly in one way. Well, how do I entertain myself now? There's certainly activities with the family, going out and exercising. Or I'm stressed. I'm stressed and I want to burn off some excess energy. Well, that whole angst, anxiety about work and all that used to be, well, why don't we eat a pizza about it? That'll make me feel better. That'll get my mind off foods. Well, exercise and talking with a friend or being with my wife or going out for a drive, or certainly other alternative activities that you could do to subvert the anxiety or the need for that comfort foods in the first place. All right, so we've talked about what have been in the past our trigger foods, what have caused us to get off plan in the past, our trigger events, activities, people, special occasions. Now let's make plans on how we're handling them in the future. And you know, if you plan in front, if you're like me, if you ask to make a plan on the spur of the moment, more often than not, I'm going to be making the wrong plan, because I don't make good plans spur of the moment. If I plan for something, then I'm more likely to do the right thing. So understand, let's start making plans for how to handle those situations that we identified in the first place now, so that we can be smarter and proactively say, oh, I've thought about that. I know how to handle that. I say this, blah. So talk about how you're going to handle those trigger situations in the future. And finally, what continues to be your lingering concerns or dangerous thoughts that you might have about foods? What points do you think you're going to be liable to face temptation in the future? Let's get those out in the open, and maybe by just expressing the fear, expressing what you think might happen in the future, potentially that might diffuse that situation from ever happening. It's no longer a time bomb waiting to go off. You've already talked about it. Your subconscious is already exposed to your conscious mind, and your conscious mind can start grinding away at it and making sure that you know what to do. So that is your day 4 activities. Understanding how we failed in the past, where we failed in the past, on what we failed in the past, and taking that and making plans for it going forward and how we're going to succeed in the future. And then finally, if we still think we have concerns or cares or whatever regarding cheating and whatever, let's express them now, get them out on the table, and let's deal with them. So that concludes day 4. Thank you guys for participating. You guys are doing great. I have to go out to your look card menus now and start looking at how you did on day 2 and day 3. Talk to you later. Bye.